everybody. Welcome back to our Campfire devotions. I'm so glad that you've joined us today. I am here with my family. I'm Rollz. I'm Rachel.
I'm Joel.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Dave.
And today we are going to be talking about trusting in God. So to start out, I want you guys, if you want to do this at home, you can join in. Just make sure you have adult supervision. Make sure your mom or dad are there. We're going to be doing some trust falls. So maybe you guys have done this at camp before. Maybe you haven't. But do you guys want to do some trust falls? Let's do some. Amanda, you want to be my partner? Okay. Ready? Nice job. Very trusting. Good job. You guys want to do it? We're all family, so we're pretty trusting of each other, but we should put that to the test. Amanda, do you want to be our volunteer? Okay, I'm going to have you stand up here on the rail there. And now just wait for our signal. Now I want you guys, we're all going to file in here. We're going to stagger our arms just like this. And then Amanda, when you're ready, we're ready to catch you. You're going to cross your arms. You're going to be really stiff like a board. And then you're going to count down from 3 and then fall. And we will be here to catch you.
1, 2, 3.
Nice job. Nice job. Amanda, can I ask you, how did you feel about that? Was that kind of scary? Was it hard to trust us? Was it kind of like, oh, I don't know if they're going to, give up at the last second?
No, I don't think. No.
Awesome. Good.
I don't think my family would let me.
No, we would never do that to you. Okay, guys, join me over by the fire in just a minute, and we will talk about our Bible story for tonight, about trusting in God.
All right, my name is Tim, and this is Harper here in the pink, and this is Bella, and we're going to sing the Hippo song. So if you know this one, the actions go like this. It goes, in the beginning, God made the seas. So you want to make a sea with your hand and then some big waves. And the forest filled with trees. So make a big old tree. He made the mountains up so high. Whoa! At the top, he placed the sky. God's fingerprints are everywhere. Just to show how much he cares. In between, he had loads of fun. He made a hippo that weighed a ton. Hip, hip, hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Just like that. So we're going to start out real slow. You girls ready? All right. In the beginning, God made the seas and the forest filled with trees. He made the mountains up so high. Whoa! At the top, he placed the sky. God's fingerprints are everywhere. Just to show how much he cares. In between, he had loads of fun. He made a hippo that weighed a ton. Hip, hip, hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Hip, hip, hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Alright, we're going to speed it up a little. In the beginning, God made the seas and the forest filled with trees. He made the mountains up so high. Whoa! At the top, he placed the sky. God's fingerprints are everywhere. Just to show how much he cares. In between, he had loads of fun. He made a hippo that weighed a ton. Hip, hip, hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Hip, hip, hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. All right, one more time, super speed. Here we go. In the beginning, God made the seas and the forest filled with trees. He made the mountains up so high. Whoa, at the top, he placed the sky. God's fingerprints are everywhere. Just to show how much he cares. In between, he had loads of fun. He made a hippo that way. All right, our next song is called Joy is the Flag. So when we sing this one, you got to get your flags up. And how we do that at camp, we go like this. We go, ooh, ping. And then we're going to let our flags fly like this. And we're going to sing Joy is the Flag. And then when we get to the chorus, we're going to really let it fly like there's a hurricane force wind. And so you'll see what that looks like when we get to it. So here we go. Let's get those flags up, ladies. Joy is the flag flown high from the castle of my heart, from the castle of my heart, from the castle of my heart. Joy is the flag high from the castle of my heart, when the king is in residence there. Here we go, let it fly in the sky, let the whole world know, let the whole world know, let the whole world know. So let it fly in the sky, let the whole world know that the king is in residence there. Alright, we're going to get those flags up again, and we're going to try to pretend it's even windier this time. So really let it fly. Let's get the flags up. Joy is the flag flown high from the castle of my heart, from the castle of my heart, from the castle of my heart. Joy is the flag flown high from the castle of my heart, when the king is in residence there. So let it fly in the sky, let the whole world know, let the whole world know, let the whole world know. So let it fly in the sky, let the whole world know that the king is in residence there. Alright guys, our next song is Creature Praise. So I'll sing a line, and then you guys sing it back. And then when we get to the chorus of the song, we're going to have to hear your best animal noises, alright? Alright, here we go. In the quiet of the evening, you can hear creation's praise to our Father up in heaven, from all creatures He has made. Give a listen, and then join in. Raise your voice up to the sky, praising Jesus, our Redeemer, with the angels from on high. Here we go. Hear the lions as they roar, hear the seals as they clap their hands, hear the elephants snore, hear the hippos as they sit down in the sand, hear the monkeys in the trees, hear the cows mooing as they do, hear the buzzing of the bees. And for Jesus as for me, I'd like to say, I love you. Hear the lions as they roar, hear the seals as they clap their hands, hear the elephants snore, hear the hippos as they sit down in the sand, hear the monkeys in the trees, hear the cows mooing as they do, hear the buzzing of the bees. And for Jesus as for me, I'd like to say, I love you.
Hi guys, now we're at the portion of Campfire where I'm just going to give you a little Bible story and a lesson to go along with it. Our theme for tonight is about trusting in God even when times are really hard. And I don't know about you guys, but with this whole pandemic going on and having to stay home and school getting canceled and things getting postponed or delayed or canceled, it's just been really kind of scary because we don't know what's going on. And it's really hard to trust, you know, the doctors and the scientists and the news people out there who are all saying it could end tomorrow, it could end next week, you could go back to work whenever, you know, the list goes on. And it's just hard to trust people sometimes because we don't know if they know everything. You know, I don't know everything, you guys don't know everything, and so sometimes it's just really hard to trust people. And like the example in the trust falls, like my sister Amanda said, you know, it's a little bit hard to trust people sometimes, but she trusted us because we're her family. And I'm sure that's how you guys feel too, but when it's trusting in someone who maybe you've never even met before, that can be really hard. And what I find oftentimes in my own life is trusting in God is really hard. I mean, that's almost more hard than trusting in people. And I don't know why that is, because He's God, right? He knows everything. He has all things in His power and in His control. But because we can't see Him, and because we can't feel Him, it's really hard to trust Him sometimes. And I'm going to read you guys a Bible passage that kind of shows us an example of this. It's the disciples talking to Jesus, and it's from John 16. Jesus is talking to them, and they're not really trusting Jesus. And you'll see why here in a second. So let me read from John 16. Jesus said to the disciples, "In a little while you won't see me anymore, but a little while after that you will see me again." And the disciples asked each other, "What does he mean when he says, 'In a little while you won't see me, but then you will see me'? And what does he mean when he says, 'I am going to the Father'? And what does he mean by a little while? We don't understand." Jesus realized they wanted to ask him about it, and so he said, "Are you asking yourselves what I meant? I said, 'In a little while you won't see me, but a little while after that you will see me again.' I tell you the truth, you will weep and mourn over what is going to happen to me, but the world will rejoice. You will grieve, but your grief will suddenly turn into wonderful joy. It will be like a woman suffering the pains of labor. When her child is born, her anguish gives way to joy, because she has brought a new baby into the world. So, you have sorrow now, but I will see you again, and then you will rejoice, and no one can rob you of that joy." So Jesus said to the disciples, "You won't see me in a little while, and then you will see me after a little while." And then he says it again, and the disciples are so confused. They're like, "Jesus, we don't understand what you're talking about." And then he says, "In a little while, you will be really sad. And then in a little while after that, you'll rejoice again." And again, they're like, "Jesus, you're making no sense here." I'm sure that the disciples in that moment had a really hard time trusting Jesus. They had no idea what he meant by what he was saying. He said they were going to be sad and then they'd be happy. I mean, that sounds like chaos to me. And he didn't tell them exactly what was going on. And so they didn't understand, and I'm sure they found it really hard to trust Jesus. But I want to go on and read to you guys what he says a little bit later in this passage. The disciples said, "At last you are speaking plainly and not figuratively. Now we understand that you know everything, and there's no need to question you. From this we believe that you came from God." Jesus asked them, "So you finally believe? But the time is coming, indeed it is here now, when you will be scattered. Each one is going his own way, leaving me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. I have told you all of this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world." So after Jesus explained in a few verses after the first ones that I read to you, he explained to the disciples what he meant. He told it to them plain and simple what he meant. He meant that on Easter he was going to rise from the dead. That's what he meant. He meant he was going to be in the tomb, and that's when they wouldn't see him. And then he would rise from the dead, and that's when they would see him again. And so finally the disciples understood now. They say, oh, now we know what you're talking about. And then Jesus, rather than rebuking them or saying, you guys should have trusted me, you should have listened to me, he tells them, he goes on to tell them this wonderful message. He says, in this world, you are going to have many trials, just like the one I told you. That's not the last time you guys are going to be sad. It's not the last time you guys are going to struggle. But whenever you go through struggles like this, take heart, because I have overcome the world. That's what Jesus says to his disciples, and that's what he's saying to you guys. And so Easter is now past. We know that Jesus has risen from the grave. That's wonderful news. We are rejoicing. We have this joy that Jesus talks about in John 16. But now here we are in quarantine, or maybe you have a loved one that's sick. Maybe you're just sad about just life in general. Maybe you're just kind of down right now. And Jesus says this is not uncommon. He says this is going to happen. But you know what he also says? He says, take heart, because I have overcome the world. And you guys can trust in God no matter what, because he has overcome the world. He has overcome COVID-19. He has overcome even camp. He's overcome trials that you're going through at home or at school or with friends or with your brother or sister or parents or whoever it might be. God has overcome all of that. And so yes, I know sometimes it is really hard to trust in God, but we can trust his word. And in his word, he says, have peace, because even though you're going to have trials in this world, I have overcome the world. And that, I think, is the most plain and simple and best news that we could ever hear from Jesus. So will you guys please join me in prayer? Dear Jesus, we thank you so much for giving us the Bible that we can read and believe and go on to teach each other and to learn from it, and most importantly, God, to learn how to trust you. Your word is truth, God, and so we believe in it and we trust in you, and we know, God, that you have overcome this world. You have overcome all sorrow and sickness and terrible things, and one day when this world has gone and when we have gone to heaven, we are going to rejoice, and it's going to be wonderful, God. And so we cannot wait for that day when we get to see you again. God, we thank you and we praise you and we love you, and all of this we pray in your holy name.